Hello, everybody. It's your girl Kera Dangerous. I'm here with Run Heard the second. You better not say third from We All Be TV.
Oh,
I finally said it right, Run.
yeah, you said it right. You said it right.
Finally. Look, let me tell you something. I never thought that I would wake up and hear that Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears were in the news for a sexual misconduct lawsuit. I mean,
Mm,
maybe Aries
yeah,
or something, but and Ron, I didn't even know that they were friends, let alone anything else. So to hear this news is just crazy to me.
you know that Hollywood and the comedy world are very small places. They seem big, but everybody know everybody, or they know somebody that knows somebody. There's like 6 degrees of separation, like Kevin Bacon or Will Smith. But it is very fascinating. This is some weird, heady times we're in. I don't know what to make heads or tails of it. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what's going on, but obviously a Mercury retrograde is on its way
Oh
because
yes,
because things are already getting crazy.
guess what the Illuminati ordered? Just what the Illuminati ordered. Yes, Mercury retrograde.
Somebody order it. So let's get into it, Ron.
All
So
right.
this is something that's stemming from a 2014 comedy skit that Aries and Tiffany produced. Um, what I'm hearing is that Tiffany was friends with the two accusers or the plaintiff's mother,
Right.
and this was, I mean, in Hollywood and in this business, we always hear of the people's big break, okay? And
Right.
that consists of many things. And we know what I always tell people, when you're in this business, you got to make sure you keep your integrity.
Right.
That already know what you're willing to do and set your price for yourself. That's very important. But allegedly,
Hmm.
Tiffany told these people are being called Jane Doe. First of all, I forget the other name, but they're going by
John
the
Doe and Jane Doe. Yeah.
John Doe and Jane Doe.
Yeah.
And she promised them that this would be their big break
Hmm.
to replicate a comedy skit of leaving your children with adults and it goes wrong,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it did go wrong, Ron.
Very much so. When keeping it really edgy goes wrong.
Right. I know that Tiffany and Aries weren't the age that they are now, but knowing that they were older than these the two plaintiffs at the time, and they're older now, I don't know what the hell they were thinking. And I don't know. I know at the time, if we think about where we are now, we're in the part of where's the council culture where
Yeah. Yeah.
the past couple of years comedians said they don't even know what to say when they get on stage because they don't want to offend people. But back then you could say a little bit more and get away with it. So we have to remember the atmosphere too at the time. I think is important for people to remember. But we're not dealing with pedophilia. The words that I'm seeing being thrown around is molestation, which is nothing that you play with, right, Ron? That's nothing that you
No, of
play
course.
with.
My whole issue was like, yeah, it's a different time. I remember like I saw on Aries YouTube channel, same year they did a skit on Cosby that's very raunchy and edgy, him and Tiffany Haddish. So I mean, it's like, it is interesting. I would not necessarily call this was in poor taste. I seen snippets of the skit or the
Hmm.
sketch they did. It's hard to watch, and I don't believe in censorship, but I don't believe they were actually trying to do some type of secret sex tape. They did submit it to Funny or Die, and
Hmm.
they rejected it. So it was just a joke that was in poor taste. It's like a mad TV skit. It was funny, then it goes on too long.
And sometimes mad TV skits could be that way. Saturday Night Live as well.
Oh yeah, they both
It's
is.
sometimes
Why is
they
too
hit or
bad?
miss, but this definitely miss. And let's just give people some facts to this, just to start it back from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Last Tuesday, a 22-year-old woman identified as Jane Doe is sued Haddish, who is 42 years old, and comedian impersonator Aries Spears, who's 47, in
Mm-hmm.
California Superior Court in Los Angeles, um, on behalf of herself. and a minor identified as John Doe, her younger brother.
Mm.
And People Magazine has reported this, and like you just brought up, this video resurfaced, or it was a user video that was uploaded to Funny or Die, and of course, Funny or Die, they don't want anything to do with this, so they issued a statement, and this is the statement here. Run. It says in a
Okay.
statement, the People, Funny or Die, said, Funny or Die found this video absolutely disgusting and would never produce such content. We were not involved with the conceptualization, development, funding, or production of this video. It was uploaded to the site as user generated content and was removed in 2018, immediately after becoming aware of its existence. Now, I have to tell you, Funny or Die, they must not monitor their
Right. I
site
was
like
thinking the same thing.
YouTube, because YouTube will snatch a video down in a heartbeat, even if it's, well, like we know, Ron, it could be 5 years
Damn.
later, but they'll certainly snatch it down for sure.
I mean, like that's 4 years later. Then not this is after Tiffany Haddish blows up at the girls trip and stuff like that. She's the it girl. So I mean, I think it's, I mean, Funny or Die. You know, they raunchy and edgy themselves. It's not
Mhm.
just Aries. He felt comfortable enough to upload that because he's looking at how they do things. He's like, even look at I was thinking about the Jackass movie, the one that came out last. It's hard to look at. I did not finish watching it. It was disturbing and really gross. And that's really the culture of Hollywood for you. They pushing agendas. There's a lot of confusion going on in that place, and your kids should not be raised by these people that produce this type of content.
Mhm.
Parents need to be parents. I really fought the lady who was the guardian of these two children, her biological children, for putting them in that position. But there's always been like that in Hollywood. You look at the former child stars of Disney, a lot of them screwed up in the head. Some of them got on drugs, got into what guardianship, we call those things. So somebody has got to take care of their money and their estate.
Mhm.
Some of them have committed suicide. You look
Mhm.
at what's going on with Orlando Brown or Britney Spears,
All right.
and you know,
Conservatorship. Yeah.
yeah, conservatorship. But then you look at also, you go back even to Judy Garland and Natalie Wood. You hear stories of them being abused by older men in powerful positions. That's the culture. I mean, it's always been the casting couch culture in that industry. Then you think about, I remember reading something about Shirley Temple talking about, when she was interviewed about how a powerful executive tried to make a play for her when she was a kid. And her mom left her with this guy thinking she'll get her break. But then somehow she frustrated the guy. Then the mom was in the room with another powerful man, I guess his boss. Something may have went down, but you got to think about women. Y'all were property. Y'all were not even considered full human beings until really like the 60s and 70s with the women's rights movement and stuff. Women were just considered property, better to be seen than heard. But you look at stories of Marilyn Monroe, who went through the child foster system, her being abused and taken advantage by powerful men in order to make a play in Hollywood, and them allegedly taking her out at a young age in her 30s. This is nothing new. This is part of the culture. And I don't think that Tiffany Haddish or Aries should be railroaded for this. But at the same time, the video was done in bad taste.
I don't know how early on Tiffany got her start. I know she had been, on the comedy scene for a while, but I know Aries started out young. So I'm just thinking I don't know if Tiffany was really a part of Hollywood, and if not, she certainly learned this. She thought it would be funny for some reason. It's like what did we pick up these behaviors from to even think that this idea would be funny? But just to give people some more meat and potatoes, this was a sexually suggestive Subway commercial, where allegedly during the taping, Tiffany instructed Jane Doe on how to perform inappropriate sex acts after watching a man and woman in a video. The plaintiffs were both minors, and of course the lawyers are saying that they were incapable of consenting to such acts. But like you said, if Tiffany was friends with the plaintiff's mother,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not clear on if the mother gave them permission to be there, gave them permission to be in the video, and if the video just was something different than what she thought it would be, or if the children just, because the mother felt safe with Tiffany, maybe once they were in her, in her possession or whatnot, maybe she just asked them to do it without asking the mother. I'm
Now
not
she
really.
asked the mom. She asked the mom. She considered. She just probably didn't know what she was getting into because she saw, okay, they could get a break in Hollywood. Even Tiffany wasn't established then, but Aries Spears, he was well known since the '90s. He probably been the next coming to Eddie Murphy. Just didn't work out for him, whatever. But he's still talented. I don't care what nobody say. He's a very talented comedian. But he got his demons like everybody else. A lot of the comedians have dark sides to them. Sometimes that dark sides can get the best of them because it's funny how the funniest people can make you laugh, but they're the saddest people walking around, depressed, all type of mental health illness and issues. But the mom, Tiffany, did get consent from the mom. The mom tried for years to settle with Tiffany over this incident, and Tiffany fought back. So I mean, this is like almost like a blackmail situation. Now you think about the fact that the daughter, or Jane Doe, is 22. She's now the legal guardian of her brother John Doe. So what they say about the mom's mental condition now versus
Good
even
point.
several years ago. I mean, was she compromised? I know women, classmates from high school, they go to the club, meet a guy that night. The next day, he's babysitting their kid. And one girl I know, she met a guy in the club. He had anger issues, end up killing her child.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, her only child, from my understanding. But you was okay letting a stranger that you barely know, but I guess he don't know your last name or your middle name or your birthday, be around your children like that, just so you can have you some stuff on on demand.
The thing
That
that
line.
weirds me out about it is that, in a part of this, it says that John Doe said in a statement that Aries and Tiffany gave him a drink that made him sleepy and happy face candy. And we know the last time we heard about somebody giving somebody a drink.
And they
And
made fun of him, and now it's karma's like, you know what?
oh my God, you right.
They
Wow.
made fun of him the same year they did that thing, and it really like it's hard to watch. I mean, there's no way I can defend this is done in poor taste. I know my opinion is subjective, but this is the culture where we at now.
Well, let's just say even if they don't face any jail time or anything,
They're not facing jail time.
but I think what they will face is public opinion, and sometimes I'm not gonna say they can be worse than jail, but that can definitely put your career in a bind. And we heard from other comedians like Faison Love, who loves to speak out, and he went in on Aries. He said that he's not very talented. And I don't know why people always say Aries is not talented.
Because he is talented. That's the issue.
You think that's what it is?
I know it because he makes me laugh. He's a hilarious. He's a very brilliant comedian. He just edgy. He's not everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. He don't supposed to be everybody's cup of tea. Nobody should be liked by everybody 100% of the time. If you liked by everybody 100% of the time, I mean, you're not a threat. You're not effective at what you're doing. To me, greatness depends on polarizing people and provoking thought. Aries just got the courage to say what people actually just thinking, like Trump does, and yet you get penalized for saying what other people think because it's supposed to be polite society. Forget all that. Faison is not. He has beef with him. He has a long-standing beef with Aries, just like with the Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle's hilarious. It's not just white folks comedy; it's thinking man's comedy. And Dave did some things like when he portrayed a crackhead on his sketch comedy thing. A lot of black folks didn't like that, especially him being from DC. He realized about the effects of the crack epidemic. So people thought, you should be a little bit more sensitive to that, Dave. But I mean, you don't supposed to please everybody. You're a comedian. You're supposed to provoke thought and conversation. So to me, Aries Spears is a great artist because he's provoking thought and conversation. But all great artists must pay a price.
Yes,
Just
they
ask your
do.
fellow comedian Lenny Bruce. He's dead. You can't ask him nothing. He's been dead.
No, you cannot. You can only just imagine what he would say. Now,
Mhm.
also, Tiffany allegedly paid the siblings $100. Now, before I show you the statement from
Mhm.
Tiffany that she just released, um, Aries and Tiff are being sued for intentional infliction of emotional distress, gross negligence, sexual battery, sexual harassment, and sexual abuse of a minor. Haddish is also sued for negligence, supervision, failure to warn, breach of how you say. Look, here's that tough
Uh,
word: fiduciary
Okay,
duty,
yeah.
a
Mhm.
constructive fraud. I got it, baby. I got it.
Yeah, man, party time.
Woo!
Woo-hoo. Yeah.
Well, but things aren't good for them, Rod. But we're gonna go to the statement that Tiffany Haddish put out. And she says, I know people have a bunch of questions. I get it. I'm right there with you. Unfortunately, because there is an ongoing legal case, there's very little that I can say right now. But clearly, while this sketch was intended to be comedic, it wasn't funny at all. And I deeply regret having agreed to act in it. I really look forward to being able to share a lot more about the situation as soon as I can. Well, hell, I wonder what questions Tiffany has to ask. She was there.
I mean, she
Maybe she
can't.
want
It's
to ask
not. But
why
no.
y'all saying this stuff. Like,
I mean, but look who's representing her legally is a guy named Andrew Brettler, who's representing like a lot of people right now. David Portnoy of Barstool Sports, Army Hammer, who else? Prince Andrew from the royal family, who was connected to Jeffrey Epstein. She's in a interesting company right now. I almost want to say the usual suspects. Also, Mr. Big, Mr. Big. They call him Mr. Big on Sex and the City. Chris Noth. This is her lawyer. So he's like Benjamin Crump's wet dream.
that's like going to that the white lady that everybody goes. What's the white lady that be against
Gloria Allred.
Gloria Allred? Yeah, these are the
Yeah, he's a
top
new
lawyers.
but I think I guess he's more impressive. I don't know. It's interesting because instead of representing the victim, he's representing the so-called predator. But if you look at, see, I'm thinking about how could you blame Tiffany and Aries if the mom allowed them to have their kids? It's like even with like you look at R.Kelly situation, you know, it was Aaliyah's uncle, Barry Hankerson, who was at one point married to Gladys Knight. He the one that gave Aaliyah allegedly to R.Kelly when she was 12 to produce her first album because he was the manager of R.Kelly. And to me, if you're going to manage somebody, you should understand that person's motivation, their personality, and how they move. So this is blood allegedly selling out blood. I mean, everybody's up for a sacrifice. I mean, was this a humiliation ritual for Tiffany Haddish to go through?
Well,
So
I was
she could
gonna
become
say
the
it's
star.
about time for her to go through something because they all do it when you get to a certain level of fame. So this may very well be it. You say Tiffany's off on vacation. I don't know if you want to call it vacation now. She's
Well, they
off.
said she in Greece or somewhere drinking it up. I mean, drinking herself straight. I don't know. Look at all these rumors. I don't know. I
It's
just
funny
know
you
that.
said drinking yourself straight because allegedly, I never mind. I won't go there.
No, I said allegedly. I don't know. I'm saying they rumors. I don't know what's going on. I just know she was on Corey Holcomb's show a couple weeks ago. And he kind of warned her, you got to be careful about how you move and what you say. It was kind of prophetic because everybody's waiting to see what Corey gonna say. But Corey, a lot of times, he don't go into people like Tiffany or Kevin Hart or Nick Cannon. He got relationships with these people. Like you gotta understand, these folks are not our leaders. The fact that people look at a Tiffany Haddish or Nick Cannon or any of them guys as leadership is really laughable because they're dependent on the white man to sign them big checks that don't bounce. Mm-hmm. They can't serve but one master at a time. They don't really answer to us. They don't answer to us. They answer to the people that control their careers. We as the people are just collateral damage, and we just we're not important to these people like that. I would say with Kevin Hart, I think it's Kevin Hart because they try to do the same thing to Kevin Hart in different ways, right? Embarrass him by his extramarital affairs, got in that real bad car accident allegedly, whatever happened. But Oscars canceled Kevin Hart. But now you look at Kevin, what he's doing now. His Netflix movies are actually funny. He's good at dramatic acting and comedic acting. He's gifted. But he kind of toned down his act a little bit over the last several years, especially dealing with the Alphabet Mafia. But Kevin Hart, he opened up that a base plant food fast food restaurant out in LA, getting rave reviews. So it's possible to get redemption. Mm-hmm. But they got to take it through some stuff. But I just think people should have gave Bill Cosby and R.Kelly even the benefit of the doubt. Because when we didn't stand for these people, this is what happens.
Well, Ron, the greater the star, the greater the fall.
Of
and
course.
Even though comedians have always been people who say things that regular people wouldn't say, comedy is a specialized skill. And what I mean by that is some comics are good at messing with people in the audience. Some are not. Some comedians can tackle race, can tackle gender. Dave Chappelle. Some comedians can be just goofball. Some can be sexual. And Tiffany Haddish, she went down this sexual road.
Yeah.
And the problem, the issue with that is if something like this comes up, then now people are gonna look at you with that double eye, that third eye again, and say, "Wow, is this where that comedy is coming from?" We've seen it with Bill Cosby. We've seen how he injected some of that the concoction he
Talking
that
about
he
Spanish
delivered.
fly.
Yeah,
You talking about that
Spanish
joke, Spanish
fly,
fly
and
joke. I
people
mean,
went back.
comedians are weird, man. I don't,
But you know, he went back, and if people went back and pulled those videos of him talking, they went back to the Cosby
I
Show and
mean,
pulled. It doesn't matter. Once they want to come for you, they're gonna go back. They're gonna look at a text message run you sent this girl 20 years ago,
yeah,
and if you're talking about half of just 1% of what you are being accused of at this very moment, they're gonna say that you already had this in you, that this is the person that you have been. It doesn't that is what they do because they're going to be coming after you.
yeah.
So with this civil case, we just got to wait and see what happens. But I guess you're saying that Tiffany will be fine, so we'll just see.
Well, I'm not even saying. I think people should give people the benefit of that. I think it's weird that people want to just get rid of folks just because something is said. Let it be proved. This is not a criminal charge. This is a civil court matter. There's no official investigation, as far as I know, being launched into this video. This video was not hidden from the public. It was uploaded to one of the biggest comedy sites, Funny or Die. So they was trying to hide something and make some type of secret sex tape. This was made available to the public for several years. And like I say, you look at stuff on Netflix and movies, a lot of this stuff is kind of weird out, like as far as sexual dysfunction goes. So you just imagine you letting your kids watch this stuff 24/7 without any so-called adult supervision. It's kind of weird to me. You look at somebody like Young Jeezy, not to call out Young Jeezy. I listen to his stuff, but the fact that he talking about trapping and being a snowman, but your son is very well educated. Your son was not in the trap house, unlike T.I.'s. I'm just joking, T.I. But but you raised your son right to not be a snowman like
Well,
you,
it's like
a snowman
the
junior.
city girls, they they want to settle down,
Right.
but they'll tell everybody else to go out and hoe and get flued out. But
Yeah.
that's why it doesn't, it pays to have common sense, and we all know that it's not coming. You know what, Ron? I'm having so much fun talking with you, even though
Oh
this
yeah.
is kind of one of those topics. So please join me again very soon for Trending Topics, a full episode of Trending Topics.
Yeah.
Don't go hiding on the We
No,
All
no,
BTV channel. Make sure you come back over here on this YouTube channel. And I want to tell everybody that's watching right now, go ahead and hit the like button, thumbs up, share this video to a friend, leave us a comment and tell us what you think about this case, what you think about Tiffany, Aries, and the plaintiffs, and subscribe. And I think that's it, Ron. What you think?
There's always so much crap to talk about, but this would do for now. Cause I know you got to take care of some stuff, so you handle your business.
We're gonna leave that where it is. and I'm out here.